Join UF Hall of Famer and 14-year NFL vet Shane Matthews every weekday as he brings you all you need to know about your Florida Gators, including news, analysis, and opinions with some of the biggest names in sports. Find us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Or watch us live at 8 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
And we welcome everyone to PodUp with Matthews in the morning, coming to you from the International Diamond Center studios with locations across the state of Florida and right here in Celebration Point in the heart of Gator Nation. I'm Kevin Winter. The International Diamond Center studios today are not Shane's office. They are not even Shane's car. I am filling in for Shane Matthews this morning here on PodUp with Matthews in the morning. For those of you who do not know who I am, I've been a guest with Shane a couple of times. But back in July, I arrived in Gainesville as the new brand manager at WRUF. I teach sports broadcasting here at WRUF, which is at the flagship station of the Florida Gators at the University of Florida. So I'm the brand manager, and then also during the sports season for football and basketball, I am the studio host, one of the studio hosts for football, and then the studio host for basketball across the Gator Sports Network from Learfield. And unfortunately, I'm now free. I was not expecting to be free of my duties this early, but that's what happened this past weekend. Want to remind everyone as well on PodUp with Matthews in the morning, you can follow and like us on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter. You can listen to us on all 39 digital platforms like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and many more. It is our pleasure to welcome in for our first guest, our only guest this morning. From First Coast News, Brent Beaird joins us. He's got his college notebook out. In fact, he sent it to me, and I'm still sifting through it. Brent, Kevin Winter, pleasure to meet you, my friend. In the college sports world this week, what kind of stood out to you, whether it's on the hardwood or in college football, as the spring practices are really heating up and spring games are going to start taking shape?
Kevin, thanks for helping this morning. We appreciate it and appreciate all that you do. Certainly for Gator sports, and enjoy your contribution, certainly. Listen, it's a fascinating time of year, is it not? We're in the middle of spring practice for the SEC and then the other conferences. We're also right in the middle now of the Sweet 16 games that lead to the Elite Eight, frankly, Kevin, right now, if you're a college sports fan, next to August and September, this is one of the best times of the year, is it not?
It is, and I'll give you another one, Brent, because look, I've said this before. I have always watched college baseball from afar, but being from the Northeast, that's a lot more Major League Baseball. But I had started falling into, especially with what ESPN had done for college baseball over the last few years. And now, obviously, being here at a school like Florida, a school that's won a national championship, most recently a couple years ago, played for a national championship. I find myself every night when I get home, on one of my laptops that I'll open up to find an extra game, I'm always finding an SEC baseball game.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And that's kind of what we do now. And I love all of that.
Well, and it's always interesting to have the midweek games too, because you never really know how these teams are going to do. They experiment a little bit sometimes midweek. And look, softball obviously doing very well too, in the SEC, but there is, as you mentioned, there's certainly a lot of off the field stuff going on, and I give the Athletic credit for this, but there are stories out that the college football season could begin as early as the last week of August. Not this year. The schedule is already done, but next year in 2027. And Kevin, the big thing about this would be teams going back to not one, but 2 off weeks and that would help them tremendously. And people need to think about this. The SEC this year adding an extra SEC game, but still only having one off week. Kevin, I can see the logic for going to 2 next year.
I certainly can as well. Brent Beaird is our guest. I want to remind everyone, Atlantic Roofing, your roofing experts for residential and commercial roofing with more than 50 years of local experience. Brent, when in part of this extra bye week, I always found it interesting that college sports had 2, and then you realize the wear and tear on a college athlete who may not be, because you've got guys who are going to go pro, but then you've got most of them are not.
Yes.
May not be as physically specimented and ready to play. What was the impetus, do you think, behind getting the week 0, as they call it, moved up? Is it just specifically to grab that extra bye week, or is it the ever almighty TV dollar?
Well, we know, Kevin, it's both of them, right? The official note's going to be so we can help the student athlete with not 1 but 2 off weeks, but we also know the dollar is in there too, no question about it. But for this year, if people haven't peeked ahead yet, there are 8 week 0 games. Now, all of them aren't exciting, obviously, but if you're going to play the week 0 game, there does have to be a break, and frankly, for all teams. So I think, Kevin, I think this is a pretty positive move. Now, again, it's not a slam dunk yet. They've got to go through all the committees that they go through. But in order to get this done for 2027, as you know, you've got to go through all the legislation and all the committee votes and so forth within the next few months to make it happen for next year.
Oh, there's not a question about it. You mentioned week 8, Brent. North Carolina, TCU, Dublin, Ireland. You also have NC State, Virginia, Brazil on Saturday, August 29th. Hawaii and Stanford will play in Palo Alto. Memphis and UNLV will play in Las Vegas. And then you've got the other games that start sprinkling in, including San Jose State and USC at the Coliseum. Florida State will host New Mexico State. And then the 2 games, I think, that kind of fall further on down the line: Jacksonville State, North Dakota State, Sacramento State, Eastern Michigan. Something that also happened, Brent, the presidential committee meeting to try to, for lack of a better phrase, I think, fix college football. I was always a fan of the idea of the Army-Navy game staying on a standalone. And the reason this gets brought up to protect Army-Navy is because of the 2014 college football playoff that Big Ten Commissioner Jim Delaney is pushing for. Your thoughts to keep the Army-Navy game, which really, in my opinion, is an institution for college sports and for the game of college football, to be a standalone game?
I think what they're trying to do, frankly, is a compromise, isn't it, Kevin? Because they want the game. The game's important. That what they at least want to do is to provide an exclusive window for the game. And that window is probably going to be like 4 hours, something of that nature. And by doing that, they will basically be protecting the game, because the reality is now what we've got is Army-Navy, it basically has their own window. But because of the playoffs and the change that they see coming in the playoffs, they really want to do both. They want to give Army-Navy an exclusive window, and then the thing they're trying to do is they realize that you can't be playing your national championship game, can you, Kevin, almost in February. So it's a combination of both, is it not? Yes. Yeah. Okay. Now, Okay, good. And again, this year the Army Navy game scheduled for December the 12th, MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford. So we have dreamed down here in Jacksonville, with this being a military town, of the possibility of maybe getting Army Navy here one day. That would be a dream. That'd be a dream come true, would it not? To be able to do that. So, but again, that we just really don't know where we're going right now with the playoff. There's certainly talk about the Big Ten would like to have it expanded to 24 teams,
Mm-hmm.
and then the SEC would rather prefer to go from 12 to 16. So it's fluid, isn't it, Kevin?
It is.
Where we're going with this right now.
It is. Just want to let everyone know who's watching on our YouTube Live and also on Facebook Live. Hey, Brent, I disappeared for a moment. I got it. All of a sudden, I looked down and went, where'd my Zoom go? And then now an email pops over from the University of Florida. I haven't read it. I'm afraid to read it. So that's where I went. So all of you watching on YouTube who want to bring a YouTube Live question, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, residential and commercial plumbing services since 1984. Our name says it all. Yep. I went bye-bye for a moment. We are, Barone, we are just rolling with it. That's exactly what we're just happening right there. Something else, Brent Beaird, here on PodUp with Matthews in the morning that I saw from that commission. Tommy Tuberville, who obviously well known in the South, but in the political landscape, people have varying opinions. He is really kind of pushing something, Brent, regarding, let's say, curtailing the 8-year player in college football or in college sports. I go back to Carson Beck at this year's national championship game. I believe it was Heather Dinich who asked him, how do you balance classes or whatever? And I think his answer was, I haven't gone to class in 2 years. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, what? Like, isn't that the job of a college football player? So Tommy Tuberville's bill, you get 5 consecutive years to play 5 seasons. After that, you're done. But he also is trying to throw an issue into the idea of if you transfer, you got to wait out. Like, Brent, didn't we used to do that back in the day?
Yes, absolutely.
Your thoughts as to, there is something to be said of a football player, basketball player who's in his 8th year of eligibility. What do we do?
Yeah, well, absolutely. Well, and Kevin, the reality is what we used to talk about would be that, geez, this guy's 20 years old. Is he too old to be playing? Now, to your point, we're talking about guys who are 25 years old. The thing we're getting now is more legislation from Congress. And look, I get people being very wary of that, but the thought process is maybe shooting for the moon and making the mountains. If we can't get everything we want, as far as trying to put some kind of caps on this, and I understand that it's going to be lawyered up at some point. But Kevin, as you know, there's a big difference if you've got a 25-year-old playing against an 18-year-old.
Oh,
so that's what we're looking for here in Tuberville. Obviously, being the former head coach at Auburn and other schools, can certainly talk about that with some authority. Now, I think to your point, the thing that what Tuberville is trying to do is to give everyone 5 years to play 5 seasons while penalizing a player 1 year for transferring a second time. I don't know if that part's going to go. Now it might, but what they're trying to do is rein some of this in and not have players who are being playing double-digit years. I mean, we had a guy, Kevin, that Shane and I talked about a few months ago, that he was in his, I believe it was Middle Tennessee, and he was in double-digit years. I mean, believe it or not, somehow between COVID and red shirts and so forth, I mean, he was about to start his 11th year. So look, I get there's got to be exceptions, but we've also got to have some common sense in this too, do we not?
Agree wholeheartedly. Look, the old joke was if you went to college for 6 years, they're called doctors. You go to college for 10 years, you're doctors and lawyers.
Yeah.
Comments available on our Facebook Live questions brought to you by Meldon Law, the only official injury and accident law partner of the Florida Gators, and on our YouTube account brought to you by Quality Plumbing. Who was it who said it was John? John says, Kevin, group participation. I get it. We're going with the group participation part. I'll also answer a lot of your questions that you have for me separately coming up in a moment. I want to continue with Brent Beaird on the Titan MRI and Imaging Hotline. Brent, in your college sports notebook that you forwarded over to me, spring practices are now either underway or just getting underway this week. I know the Gators, they even started back before we had spring break here on campus. Which SEC school are you more interested in regarding their off-season and spring practice storyline?
Well, I think you've got to start with LSU that started this week. Kevin, is there anything that happens in Baton Rouge right now that is not only SEC news, but it quickly goes to USA Today type material?
Yes, I know.
Frankly. So LSU has started. Obviously, Lane Kiffin is there too. Now, there's some basketball stuff with LSU we'll get into in a little bit that is obviously off the field with their season being over, but it's rather interesting too. But Lane Kiffin's met with the media. There's certainly a lot of excitement. Trey Daz Green is a tight end there. He is a top prospect that they are also excited about. Now, their spring game at LSU will be later in March 24th, particularly when you've got some schools that their spring game will be over a whole lot quicker than that, obviously.
I know.
But
our Gator spring game is on April 11th. I mean, we're inside 3 weeks now.
Yeah, really. So people are getting used to Lane being at LSU and where that is going to go. Also, I saw this, Kevin. This is unbelievable. I saw this yesterday on the money for LSU. A $38 million roster, which is a little bit above the $20 million that they're suggesting.
Just a bit.
Yeah. $15 million for basketball, $54 million to Brian Kelly's buyout, which obviously we know is going to be spread out, and then Lane Kiffin's $91 million deal. What, Kevin? Is there? We're being facetious here, but is there a little money factor at LSU somewhere that comes up with all this change? Maybe.
I mean, look, this isn't pocket change you're pulling out of your couch here. But look, Brent, isn't this the state of college athletics?
Yes.
And it may tie into, although I do not believe it is, but why all people, and I'll pivot for a moment away from the college football landscape. But look, when it comes to Todd Golden, that's why, as much as I locally have shot down the idea that Todd Golden would ever leave Florida for Kansas or Kentucky or North Carolina, the answer is, Brent, those who say he might, because those programs spend money on basketball.
They do.
The LSU spends money on football. Obviously, if you're paying two coaches that kind of money and you've got a $38 million roster. I mean, to me, it just speaks to where schools want to devote their resources. I think, Brent, it also, for South Carolina, if I'm not mistaken, they give more money to their women's basketball program than they do to their men's.
Yeah. I could believe that, yes.
Again, it's the thinking. So, look, there's I get all that. So LSU, in your mind, what piques your interest about the Gators here for their spring practice as we keep it local here on Pot Up with Matthews in the morning?
Listen, I really like John Summerall. I know there's questions. Well, he came from a smaller school and so forth. Look, and I'm curious if you've had a chance to talk with him much, but look, and just the people I've talked to have talked to him. That they come away very impressed. That this guy really knows what he's doing. That he's the boss. I mean, I think that, what I hear is he's fair, but that he is in charge. And I think there's a real excitement for this. I'm fascinated, obviously, too, with the players. I mean, with Aaron Philo, who comes from Georgia Tech, Tramel Jones, who comes from our area, where that's going. But I'll say this: I think he has left a really good impression so far. I know they haven't played a game yet, but we all get that. But you get a different vibe, maybe a little bit from Summerall, and I think that's been an impressive situation so far.
All right, so you asked me if I've had an opportunity to meet him. So the season for basketball ends on Sunday. I went to Tuesday morning's practice, and coming up a little bit later on here on Pot Up with Matthews in the morning, I'll give everyone my takeaways from practice. But Brent, I'll just give you this. I'm standing next to Sean Kelly at practice. He and I are talking. We've known each other a long time. It's one of the reasons I'm down here, and it is the reason I'm on the Gator Sports Network. Sean says to me, don't be surprised if John comes up to talk to you, because John is just wandering around. He's just going through, just going through practice. He's everywhere, right? And next thing you know, here comes John, and John daps up Sean, and John looks at me, extends the hand, and says, "Hi, I'm John Summerall." And I'm like, no kidding. I know who you are. But he is just he is down to earth. I've seen a lot of the interviews he does. He is just who he is. You are not going to get a fake John Summerall ever.
No.
I don't know, Brent, if he ever knew how to tell a lie. And he's just honest. And but he's also the kind of guy that you seem like you want to play for. He's going to get the best out of you.
Yeah.
And I'll explain the vibe at practice a little bit later on. But I had a great conversation. Brent, I also think if you and I were throwing rocks at scarecrows, he would sit here and watch the two of us and watch us have a competition to see who could get the closest or how many scarecrows we could hit. I really do. And I think he would enjoy it, and he would egg us on.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That's the kind of vibe.
Kevin, how many people can take a picture with an alligator as he did? Now look, some of that may have been doctored a little bit, but the reality is he was a lot closer to that gator than I ever want to be, okay?
Agree. Yes, he certainly is. We are coming to you from the International Diamond Center Studios with locations just across the state of Florida and right here in Celebration Point in the heart of Gator Nation. Kevin Winter with you. He is Brent Beaird from First Coast News. You can catch him all over the place. He's got his college sports notebook. Brent, I want to circle back. So there's a little football for us. I want to circle back to your takeaway on Sunday night. I mentioned the season ended a lot sooner than we thought. I want your takeaways. This Gator season, it ends earlier than we hoped, but you still have an SEC conference championship, a regular season title. There is 63 wins for this team, including a natty in a 2-year stretch. How would you evaluate this year?
Well, it was a difficult ending, but I mean there were times to where they looked invincible. To be honest with you, but you could see in the SEC tournament was the season catching up with them a little bit at that point. But look, the thing, and people have traced this out, Kevin, it's so hard to repeat. I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's really hard to repeat after you won the national championship. So right now, obviously, the big thing is who do they bring in for next year, which is going to be a question. That the other big question is, can Florida keep that basketball staff? I mean, I think they will, but we are at an unprecedented time, aren't we, Kevin? When North Carolina and Kansas opens up in the same year, that's something you rarely see, right?
I agree 100%. I will say this to Gator fans. I would be more concerned with Carlin Hartman leaving than I would about Todd Golden. So when you say, can we keep the staff? I do not believe this staff will be fully intact. And I think that speaks to what Todd has done over his now 4 completed seasons here at UF. That he's built. I mean, I can't remember from the championship team. I can't remember how many assistants that they lost, but they lost some good ones. And you rebuilt it and you put your trust in associate head coach Carlin Hartman. He might be the first one to go. And if so, I'm only saying that because I think people around the country and schools around the country believe so highly of what he has done.
Yeah. Well, and the thing you're seeing now in North Carolina, aren't you, Kevin, is they finally may go outside the family. Now, what does that mean? That means that they won't have someone who purely has North Carolina ties. So that's one thing that we may see. Now, the Bill Self thing at Kansas is still there's still a little doubt about that. I think there's people who think that Self could retire, but you get away from it for a few weeks, and who knows where that might go. One of the more interesting tweets about this, Kevin, that I've seen all week was if Bill Self retires, Kansas and North Carolina would be the openings would be the equivalent of Georgia and Ohio State for football vacancies. So there's probably some truth to that.
Sure.
That if that happens, to see 2 of the biggest blue bloods looking for coaches will be very unusual, would it not?
It certainly would. Look, I mean, Brent, we're dealing with a Sweet 16 now that has no Kentucky, no Kansas, no North Carolina, and no UCLA. I want to say, I read the other day, it's the first time since the tournament went to expanded in 79 or 76, whatever the expansion was, that they're in this current format, that's ever happened.
But what we've seen on that is, and I've seen this tweet too, this is the first Sweet 16, Kevin, get this, since 1954. That doesn't include Kansas, Kentucky, UCLA, or North Carolina.
There we go. That was the number, 1954. Yes.
To your point, I mean,
right.
that's jaw dropping almost, is it not?
It's exceptionally jaw dropping. It's exceptionally jaw dropping. But we talked NIL, and we always look at NIL from the lens of college football. Now you have NIL in the lens, as Seth Greenberg used to say, it's pay for play when it comes to college basketball.
Yeah. Yes.
Brent, we're dealing with Indiana being a football school that can spend money and has the resources to do that. And you also killed the mid-major because I believe every one of the Sweet 16 is now from a power conference. It's just not your normal power conference schools that we're accustomed to. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Brent, go ahead.
Well, I'm just going to say, to your point, for instance, when you look at tonight, Texas, Purdue, Iowa, Nebraska, Arkansas, Arizona, Illinois, Houston, and that's just tonight. But to your point, these are, I mean, you could look at that and also say, well, those would be pretty decent football games, would they not? So,
Yes.
people, and look, that's part of where we are right now, and that's going to be a real discussion after the season, I believe, Kevin.
Yep.
Is can the non-Power 4 still survive in the tournament?
Agree 100%. Brent Beaird joining us on the Titan MRI and Imaging Hotline. Brent, well done, my friend. It was a pleasure to speak with you. I thank you for joining us in your usual spot, and I thank you for joining me. It's been a lot of fun having this conversation with you.
Kevin, great job, and really appreciate when you're on the air with the different Gator teams. I always enjoy that, and glad you were here, my friend. Look forward to doing it again soon.
I certainly will. Brent, thank you very much. Okay, coming up here on PodUp with Matthews in the morning from the International Diamond Center Studios. Now this is your time. I am going to fly solo, but really the company of you. On my local show on WRUF, I call all the members on our YouTube account and our Facebook Live channels. I call you the Gator congregation. Fire any question off. Here's what's going to be on the table. Let's talk Todd Golden. Let's talk the games tonight. I'll give you my picks. Let's also talk the article from USA Today regarding DJ Lagway. Because what was that? Well, I got some thoughts on that. We'll all talk about that coming up. Be right back here on PodUp with Matthews in the morning.
Our premium sponsors are Atlantic Roofing, Campus USA Credit Union, International Diamond Center, J.F. Hayden's Craft Liqueurs, Los Landeros Tequila, Meldon Law, Titan MRI and Imaging, Castaway Sauce, UF Health Orthopedics, Michael Snyder PLLC, Florida Legends Gala and Experience, South State Bank. Gridiron sponsors are Baker Sports, Florida Cracker Oyster, Electronics World, Gallo Car Wash, Miapa Latin Cafe, Peachland Dental, Quality Plumbing, Ruse Ogre State Farm, Silverback Concrete, 84 Lumber, Big Mills Cheesesteaks, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Florida Cracker Kitchen, Gator Dominoes, Ironwood Golf Course, McDonald's of Gainesville, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, UF Bookstores, International Gold and Diamond Exchange, Advocare, MGNA Wealth, Comfort Temp. Watch and listen to us live on Facebook or YouTube. Listen to podcasts wherever on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And to advertise, be sure to call my man Freddie at 352-284-3733.
By now, you heard about the Florida Legends Experience in Gala, featuring Gator Heisman greats Tim Tebow, Danny Warfel, and Steve Spurrier, all in one place at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. Imagine catching a pass or taking a handoff from a Heisman winner, all while supporting Isaiah 117 to help provide safe, loving homes for children in need. Then enjoy an unforgettable evening at the Gala, filled with great food and lasting memories. Don't miss this historic event. Find out how you and your business can get involved at FLLegends.com. That's FLLegends.com.
Naysayers, setbacks, injuries. Life throws a lot of hurdles your way. The key is just keep jumping them.
Coach, you know what always impressed me, how you beat Florida State to win the 1996 National Championship.
And I was really impressed with your 06, 08, and 09 Gator teams.
And the way you coached Danny to the Heisman Trophy.
A lot like what you did with Tim Tebow.
You know, you won more SEC championships than you lost home games at the Swamp.
And you had plenty of super games in front of our Gator Nation.
Yeah, there really is something special about the Swamp.
I guess that's why we say about the Swamp, only the Gators get out alive.
To the Swamp and the Gators, with the best beverage served at Spur's Gridiron Grill, 100% agave Los Landeros Tequila, aged in bourbon barrels for a smoother taste.
I think you mean Head Beer Coach 1966 lager, a crisp, light, bodied lager for easy drinking.
Nope. Los Landeros Tequila, smooth enough to drink neat and bold enough to elevate a cocktail.
1966 lager, enjoyed on game days in the fall or whenever you need a winning cold brew.
Los Landeros Tequila.
1966 lager.
Los Landeros.
1966 lager.
Y'all stop bickering.
Okay, you're both wrong anyway. The best thing Spurrier's Gridiron Grill offers are Jerry's famous chocolate chip cookies.
PodUp with Matthews in the morning continues here across the YouTube channel, Facebook Live, all of that. Kevin Winter with you. I am at WRUF. I'm filling in today for Shane. So I want to thank Shane Matthews for all he's done. I want to thank Brent Beaird, who joined us on the Titan MRI and Imaging Hotline. And now we have an opportunity to join and to talk to all of you. A couple of topics that are going to be on the table. Send us your questions on our YouTube live chat. YouTube live questions brought to you by Quality Plumbing, residential and commercial plumbing services since 1984. Our name says it all. Facebook live questions are brought to you by Meldon Law, the only official injury and accident law firm partner of the Florida Gators. On Facebook, Andy says, Kevin, if Carlin Hartman gets a head coaching job at the mid-major program, do you think Olivier Rioux would leave with him for, I believe he's going to say, more potential playing time? Do you think he's satisfied with his current role with the Gators? Andy, I would venture to guess 1,000% that Ollie stays. I think Olivier Rioux, just by watching him play, watching the kind of love he gets from Gators, knowing that he is very new to the game of basketball, I think Ollie would stay with the Gators because of the camaraderie he's been able to get. He's been able to establish with his teammates. His current teammates love him. That's it. I said 1,000% off the top. That was dumb. I shouldn't have said that. I don't know for 1,000%. That was filler words, so that's my fault. I believe he stays. I don't know which coach he is closest to, so that could play a part into it, Andy. But I believe he would stay. Kevin, have you been on the golf course to play around with Shane yet? That question comes in on our YouTube live question brought to you by Quality Plumbing. Have I played with him? No. Have I been along the same holes with him? Yes. Have I watched him tee from the tips when I am up a tee or two? Yes. Yeah. So I've had some fun out there. What are the chances UF starters all come back not named Lee? That is from Chris Paul 6419. Chris, if you're including Tommy Houck in that, which I believe you are, the answer to that question is 0. Tommy's going to the NBA. In fact, I am firmly of the belief that Tommy Houck will not slide past where the Golden State Warriors pick. I believe Golden State has someone else's selection as well as their own, I think. But I think Golden State is a destination that they would like Tommy if they could get him. I think Tommy winds up being either a lottery pick or just outside of the lottery. There's those. The Pouncey twins, Mike and Marquise, invite you to try Liché and Mango Martinis at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, handcrafted with their J.F. Hayden liqueurs. Try those flavors or find your favorite at shopjfhaydens.com. Speaking of basketball, everyone, let's get to this Todd Golden stuff, because I found it ironic originally when the comment came through regarding Kansas and Bill Self a couple of weeks ago, when all of this really started getting just a little funky with, oh my God, a school's going to potentially poach Todd Golden. So first it was Kansas, and yes, I believe Bill Self is done because of his health. He's had a couple of health scares here that the next health scare, I hate to see what happens. So I think his family is probably going to ask him to step away from coaching. So that does give a blue blood school that opens up, okay? Then you've got North Carolina. As I said on my local radio show here on WRUF from 2 to 4, from 2 to 3 really, before my students go on after me. What's a better program right now, Florida or North Carolina? Right now, no brainer. It is the University of Florida. What's a better program right now, Florida or Kansas? I am still taking Florida, and I am not saying that because I have this nice jacket on. I got the nice shirt, and I get paid to call their games and be part of their broadcast. I am not saying it because of that. I firmly believe, Gator Nation, that Todd Golden has set something up here in Gainesville, much like Danny Hurley has this century at UConn, taking what Jim Calhoun did at Connecticut and building it all the way through. I firmly believe that. So why would you leave? That's my thought. Could North Carolina or potentially Kansas offer more money? Probably, maybe. But if you read Scott Strickland's comments that he has given to the media over the last couple of days, they're going to back up the truck. The question is, what kind of NIL is that? Is that a holdup? How much money am I going to get for the program? I think Todd, really likes it around here. I think he loves the fact that he's building something. Here's something else, guys. If you're Todd, do you want to leave knowing the last time you had a game, you got knocked out in weekend one? That it wasn't even just you didn't defend your title. You didn't make it to the Sweet 16. I can't picture Todd leaving like that. I'll say this as well. I had always believed that Todd is kind of the next Brad Stevens. And remember, I came from Boston, so I know. I don't know Brad, but I've watched how that developed. If Todd were to leave anywhere, I believe it would be for the NBA. I think there is only one college program that Todd would leave for, but not now. This would be down the line. Maybe. Again, it's a guess. I could see him wanting to take UCLA someday. Other than that, I don't see him leaving Florida for any other college job. So look, Todd's a West Coast guy. That's a blue blood school that has been dormant for a while. That would be my only guess. Other than that, I think the only place Todd goes would be the NBA. Lakers. And not just any NBA job. Lakers, Celtics, Knicks, Sixers, if they're available. Or Golden State. But how many are available right now? None. Maybe the Lakers, but they're turning it around. So that's just my opinion on Todd and what's going to happen. We are inside our International Diamond Center studios. I want to remind everyone that Ruse Ogre State Farm, their office is a team of dedicated insurance professionals ready to help life go right with the right insurance options for you and your family. Visit ruseogreinsurance.com or call us at 352-240-1779. Question from Facebook Live, brought to you by Melville Law. Ted says, what about Todd leaving for Arizona at some point? Right now, why would Arizona be open? That would be my question. The Arizona Wildcats are one of the best teams, if not the top preeminent teams in college basketball this year. Jeff says, Florida is a better program, but also in an easier conference. Big 12 is brutal. Jeff, it's not just the Big 12. You got Big 12, but also think about how many teams do the Big 10 have in the Sweet 16. Big 10's got 6. YouTube live question brought to you by Quality Plumbing. MSRK, Pope will be gone in Kentucky? ? I kind of put them together because MSRK, there was a lot of talk at the beginning of the year that Kentucky was basically ready to have a mutiny And I'm talking early in the season. They were ready to have a mutiny, and Pope did an okay job. If Pope did a pretty good job of turning that thing around because they had a nice mediocre beginning stretch. Kevin, if you're UNC and especially Kansas, wouldn't you target the Iowa or Iowa State head coaches? Not only would I do that, Barone, I also would start looking at maybe Vanderbilt's head coach. I really like the guy at Missouri too. I can't remember his name. We had look, being a part of a broadcast network for the first time, my brain is fried up over the last couple of days because I just backed off. I like Missouri's coach. I love Vanderbilt's coach. I think Vanderbilt's coach is really good and really smart. So that's where I would go. Who said it earlier? Donovan ending up at Carolina. Look, I don't know if Billy Donovan's going to end up at Carolina, but I can tell you all this. My time in the NBA, calling those right there, the NBA Finals, the credentials behind me. Yeah, I didn't mean to flex right there, but I did. There are two places to be in the NBA. You either want to be really, really damn good, or you want to be really, really bad. And Billy Donovan, unfortunately, has been stuck in purgatory. Absolute purgatory in the NBA. Miami Heat, Atlanta Hawks, Chicago Bulls. What do they all have in common? Pretty much every year they are in the play-in tournament. And that's not a good place to be because that means you're not getting the top of the heap, and you're just in a bad spot. So I could see Billy wanting to come back to college. By the new way that college sports work, it's got a little bit of professional environment to it. So you recruit differently. Urban Meyer said it the other day. You're not just going to recruit by meeting a family. I think it was Urban Meyer who said it. You're not going to meet a family, show a kid your university, show them your weight room, show them your workout center, show them your practice facility. Here's recruiting in today's day and age. Here's recruiting. Ready? How much? That's recruiting. How much is it going to cost, or how much are you going to pay me? Those are the two questions that get asked. So that's why, to me, it's different. You don't have to do the same kind of legwork. You got to find the right player. Okay, so back to Billy going to Carolina. If Billy goes to Carolina, if you're Scott Strickland, don't you call the athletic director at North Carolina immediately and you set up a home-and-home series between Florida and Carolina in basketball? Because Billy Donovan coming back to Gainesville to play Todd Golden on Billy Donovan court. And then the following year, or whatever it may be, the Gators go up to Chapel Hill. You absolutely make that call. Again, long way out. We'll see what happens. By the way, some of the comments that you guys threw at me earlier on our YouTube account and even on Facebook, yeah, I kind of, whoopsie. We had a UF brain freeze over here on the laptop. It said Zoom, the Zoom said, "What are you doing?" But some of the other ones, comparing to the person I took over this role, you guys are funny. I'm not going to read them. You guys can find them. You're funny. I said I want to bring you my comments regarding Gator football. By the way, I want to remind everyone that UF grad Michael Snyder, a real estate attorney, can help you save thousands of dollars in real estate commissions by helping you sell your home or your land by owner without a broker. Michael Snyder, PLLC, serves the entire state of Florida. Contact Michael at maschneiderpllc.com. That's maschneiderpllc.com. I was talking about it with Brent regarding the atmosphere at practice for the Gators. Meeting John Summerall, watching the upbeat nature. two things stood out to me. Aaron Philo has a cannon. I know, it's a quarterback in college. You should. Aaron Philo has a cannon. And the amount of coaches who are actually coaching during practice was just different. It was just different, guys. Like you had some coaches, you had massive coaching change. Everyone was engaged and involved. And I understand it's new for everyone. It's also March. You better be engaged and involved. You better be engaged and involved. I get all that. But seeing how quickly things kind of got stale last year, especially when it deteriorated for the season again, and you're getting back to the point of it's a lost year again, there's a vibe of refreshness. I forget who said it. I got to find my mouse. Where'd my mouse go? I'm going to my YouTube account, to the YouTube channel here. Anyway, I'm gonna surmise this. Someone on our YouTube account, brought to you by Quality Plumbing. I am going to hold my, oh, here it is. After the last regime, I'll wait until after the Auburn game to judge about where they're at. I'll get it. I get it. I get it. This is show me time, right? This is show me time. Here's the good news. Everything John has been asked to do, he has won and excelled, in my mind. Dennis Gates is the head coach at Missouri. Andy, thank you, by the way. John has excelled and won a press conference. He's won the offseason. He's won, but he hasn't won a game because he hasn't played a game. Two things before I give you my picks for tonight. Very quickly. DJ Lagway, you felt like you weren't part of the Gator team. You felt like you were left out. You felt like you were off on an island by yourself. Dude, that's a you problem. That's a you problem. You're the quarterback. That's not an us problem. That's a you problem. If you haven't seen it, excuse me. If you haven't seen it, that's DJ Lagway's comments in the USA Today article that's kind of getting some traction around here. Goodbye. Sorry, DJ, that's a you problem. You're the quarterback. You need to ingratiate yourself to your teammates. You need to be the leader. Yeah, sorry, man. Don't know what to do for you. I really don't. All right, you guys asked about some picks for tonight. Very quickly. I would go, sure, why not? I'll say Texas plus the points. I think Purdue wins, but I'll take the 7.5. Nebraska beats Iowa. I think Iowa's too excited that they're there. I also think Nebraska is a really good team. In fact, I thought Nebraska, I picked Nebraska to beat Vanderbilt anyway. I think Nebraska is a really good team. Purdue wins, but I think Texas covers. Nebraska, I'm going to say Houston, although I really like Illinois, but I'll go Houston. And here's your next one seed to fall. Arkansas beats Arizona. In part, guys, I think Darius Acuff is having a Kemba Walker-style NCAA tournament. That kid's good. That kid's really, really, really good. It has been a lot of fun broadcasting PodUp with Matthews in the morning from our International Diamond Center studios. Zach, I think I got all the reads in. So Freddie and Shane should be very happy with me. Don't forget, follow and like us on Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitter. You can listen to us on all 39 platforms like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and many more. For all of you who chimed in with Facebook Live questions brought to you by Meldon Law and our YouTube questions brought to you by Quality Plumbing and joining us on the Titan MRI and Imaging Hotline, my name is Kevin Winter. Shane will be back, I think, tomorrow, but it's been a lot of fun. Hope you enjoy your day. Thanks for listening to PodUp and watching PodUp with Matthews in the morning.